Hey guys, welcome back to another episode with me, Budget Gaming HD. And in today's episode, we will be discussing probably the last webcam you'll ever need to buy. And that is the Elgato Facecam. So you don't want to miss that. You're probably here because you're interested in Elgato Facecam. We will be discussing the performance of this camera, how big it is, what it can do, its features, and just looking at if it's an overall good camera for the price. Now, this episode is not sponsored, so this is my 100% unbiased opinion. I've been using the camera for around 2 weeks, and I must say it is fantastic. But before I ruin the surprise, let's see how this camera is, the size comparison, how to get the best performance of your Elgato Facecam with certain settings, and just overall how to operate and how to use it. So let's get started. Looking at the front of the box, you can see it's full HD, low latency, uncompressed video, and it's got an Elgato Prime Lens. Raw uncompressed video, state-of-the-art Sony sensor, advanced image engine. It's got Elgato flash memory support, true HD at 60 frames per second, and an Elgato Prime Lens, as mentioned. Again, it says true HD 60 quality. I guess they want to make that apparent. Ultra low latency, Sony STARVIS CMOS sensor, anti-reflective all-glass lens, and an 82-degree field of view. Inside the box, you'll find a face cam, a privacy cap, so the mount comes with 1/4 thread, a detachable USB-C cable which is quite good, and it's around 2 meters long. Looking at the size of the webcam, I would say this is an extremely big webcam, and I've never seen anything like it before, but I like it. The Elgato Facecam also comes with a privacy screen that you can easily remove like this. The lens itself is quite big, and like I've mentioned, it's raw uncompressed video. Turning to the back, it has your detachable USB-C port, shows the Facecam on the side, and your mounting fret at the bottom. Looking at the back, it's got passive cooling vents, which I find is pretty cool. Now for the mount, as you can see, this is a quite big mount as well. However, you just screw it on. Due to the fact that this Elgato Facecam supports 1/4 thread, it's quite versatile with many tripods. So before I start this how to get the best settings out of your Elgato webcam, I must just say how important lighting is. If I switch off my lighting, you'll see it is quite dark and the quality already has been decreased. So what's good about this Elgato Facecam is the fact that they've taken a good camera and they've paired it with amazing software, and together they formed a beautiful product. And that's what makes this Elgato so amazing. So remember, good lighting, good camera quality. As you can see already, my face looks softer, everything looks better with correct lighting. However, it's still not perfect. Starting from the top, if you press Control Shift, which I don't think most reviewers tell you, or most YouTubers tell you, if you press Control Shift, you can see the update firmware settings. If you just click the normal one, that is the normal update for your program, right? So it's 1080p, 60 frames per second, uncompressed. That just basically means there's no software involved compressing and decompressing this image. So everything is pure out of the lens as you see it. Well, at least that's how I understand it. So your basic zoom, which we don't need, of course. Now we're jumping into the contrast. This would differ from person to person. It all depends on your lighting, how much background light you have, how much background noise you have. Contrast, you can see there it makes it darker and lighter. Now, I'm not a professional when it comes to cameras. I can just tell you my logic behind each and every setting. Saturation is how bright it needs to show colors. So yes, now we're going to the 1820s. And yes, now I probably won't say that's the futuristic look, but it depends on person to person. So I've got a sort of bluish grayish shirt on, so I'm going to try and do this as closely as I can, and that should be around 65%, maybe 61%. Yes. Now sharpness is very important here. What it actually does is it shows how sharp your picture is compared to your background. So if I put it down, you can see everything is a bit blurry. It doesn't look too great. Or if I set it up, it's going to make sharp. But if we go too sharp, it looks grainy, right? So I want to find something sort of in the middle. Now I find +2 to be sort of the perfect one. Even +3 if we're going to set our ISO right. But I'll get back to this just now. So the exposure you want to take off. And you want to say the shutter speed. Now, a good shutter speed, as a rule of thumb, is twice the amount of your camera's frames per second. So this is a 60 frames per second camera. I'm going to put it to 120. This is just how much light your camera is taking in. If you make it too dark, taking very little light in at 2000, so it's very dark. And at 10, it's very bright, but it's very laggy. So we're at 120, which is good rule of thumb. It's double the intake of your webcam. And then you can set your preferable ISO. As you can see, your ISO has got quite an effect on your sharpness. If you look at the background, look at everything else, it's very white, but it's also very grainy. So if I put the sharpness up even more, it looks terrible. If I turn down the sharpness, we sort of get a adjustable picture. So what you want to do is you want to find the correct balance between sharpness and your ISO. So I'm going to leave mine at +2 for now. And then my sharpness, I would rather want a bit of a darker color so that everything looks balanced. It all depends on your room, your setup, and how good your lighting is. White balance, I'm going to take off automatic. I'm going to drop down to 2800 Kelvin, and I'm going to work my way up until I find the perfect one. So I want to leave it at 3400. That seems to be my skin tone, my shirt, and the blackness of my mic. Now, noise reduction, you can put on noise reduction if you really want to, but let me show you guys what it does. Put it on +4, everything looks grainy. Put on your noise reduction, and then what it does is sort of blurs the image to compensate for that graininess. So if you put it to +2 with noise reduction, it gives you sort of a better picture, but I don't like it because it looks more blurry than without it. I like more the natural look than to compensate for that noise. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys like the noise reduction on or not, but I don't. So let's say we want to go to +4, +3, and you put noise reduction off, you'll see the difference. Grainy, not grainy. So I'm going to leave mine at +2 and take off noise reduction. So that concludes this episode. But before we end it, I would like to discuss the pros and cons about this Elgato Facecam. The pros certainly outweigh the cons. This is a fantastic webcam. It's got a detachable USB-C cable, which is also very long, so you can connect your PC from afar. It's got an 82-degree field of view. It has fantastic software. The software is quite interactive, so kudos to that. So the cons are no built-in microphone, which is okay because I would rather have them spend more money on the internals than a microphone, and most streamers today have got their own microphone anyway, like I have mine. And of course, it's very expensive. This camera will put you back £129 on Amazon. However, I felt it is just fantastic and I had to try it for myself. Hey guys, please let me know in the comment section below if this camera is actually good for the price. However, I feel it is. So thank you so much for the support. Remember to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, a thumbs down if you didn't. Please remember to hit that subscribe button and my notification bell to stay up to date with my latest content. Now guys, thank you so much for watching. I can honestly say this Elgato Facecam is wonderful. I probably didn't think that I would go from a 4K camera to a 1080p camera, but so far this thing is beating everything that I've ever used. So yes, thank you so much for watching and I shall see you soon.